Hello everyone and welcome to this 12th replay commentary on Wargame European Escalation. So today I'll comment a 4v4 game on A Bridge Too Far. This game is a game opposing two clans. The Fight clan playing PACT, represented by Tisba, Belle, Infortune, Medivil and JaWattDiX, and the LVA clan represented by Delta, Farwader, PatBoy and myself playing as NATO. So it's a 40-minute match, so I'll speed up things quite a lot from time to time to avoid commenting for 40 minutes. So, our strategy to begin. Our strategy was quite simple. Farwader was starting on Gulf. His objective was to secure Foxtrot as quick as possible and then hold and push on the right side of the map. I started in the middle. I had to take control of this line of forest to push in the middle here, take control of this forest and then push through Kilo, maybe a hotel or on the left, depending on the game. And on the left side of the map in Quebec, we have Delta and PatBoy playing together to push on the left side of the map, trying to hold and push against the PACT players. Unfortunately, the PACT players regrouped 3 of their players on India on the left side of the map. We've got JaWattDiX, Tisba and Belle Infortune all regrouped in India, and will try to push here. It will be a very big battle on the left of the map. 3 players on the PACT against 2 NATO players. The 4th PACT player is starting in hotel. It's Medivil and he will push in the middle, apparently try to defend his part of the map. On the right side there is no PACT player. Farwader will quickly see that and will obviously adapt his strategy according to that. So we have a lot of heavy tanks on this side of the map. TATU, TATA, TATBV, more than 10 tanks on this side of the map, with a lot of infantry, anti-air, with a Buratino to support all of that, and some helicopters on the left side. The NATO players, Delta and PatBoy, are starting also with a lot of heavy tanks. We've got 2, 4, 6, and maybe 6, 8 Leopards 2A4 and 2 Challenger 1s, where here they are. It's a very heavy force, only heavy tanks. It will be a very big battle on this side. Regarding my troops, well, it's a quite balanced troop with Zippos, infantry, heavy tanks, mortars, anti-air, recon and air recon, and the same for Farwader on the right side of the map. So we've got Farwader deploying on Foxtrot and moving up, sending in his Gazelle on the right, and will quickly detect the absence of enemies on this side. In the middle, we try to secure this forest and this one quite quickly, and the PACT will go directly for this forest with infantry and flamethrower tanks. On this side, a very quick push of infantry from Delta. This push that is totally destroyed by the overwhelming PACT forces, and 2 Leopards also come in and, well, probably a bad use of these tanks, well, a mistake I guess, from Delta, who lost 2 heavy tanks now. Starting of the game, advantage for the NATO players, who deployed quite well their tanks on this side. They've got all the left flank secured by the city over here, and they can now attack the PACT force without being attacked on the left side, without having a menace on their left flank. Forest secured over here, and forest secured over here. The middle of the map is quite, well, it's observation between PACT and NATO forces. Farwader here sends his Gazelle into Alpha. He now knows for certain there are absolutely no PACT forces in this area. He will try to control Charlie, Bravo and Echo quite quickly to give an economic advantage to the NATO forces. Little flamethrower combat here. And we're going back to the main battle between NATO and PACT forces. So little mistake here, in my opinion, of the PACT forces. They have a good tank force, but they don't use it very well. They are all regrouped over here. They don't take advantage of their number. They should spread out on this side of the map and take the heavy tanks, the NATO heavy tanks, on their flanks. But they don't do that, and they don't even try to use their cannons. They just fire with their AATGMs from afar. One big Buratino barrage here. The French infantry is getting totally killed. The German tanks are stunned but don't lose a single HP. Very, very heavy tanks, these ones. The Delta command vehicle has moved into Papa to contest this sectors controlled by the PACT players. But a big infantry force coming up on the left pushes Delta to pull back his commander, and Papa is once again controlled by the PACT players. So for now, big advantage for the NATO players, 1500 against 800 points. In my opinion, the better deployment of troops over here gives the advantage to the NATO players. But a misclick here from Delta. He sends, I don't know why, his tanks forward, and they get totally killed by the T-80s over here. Here we go, one Leopard 2A4 destroyed by the T-80As, and the other one is killed also. One misclick here that costs a lot of points to the NATO team. So Papa has been totally abandoned to the PACT players, and the PACT are starting a very, very nice flanking action with 11 infantry troops. They are starting to take the NATO forces from the left side and even from behind, if we consider this is the main NATO force front line. There is nothing the NATO players can do right now to stop these infantry units that are coming in really, really fast on their flank. The T-80As are finally starting to push forward, and the Leopard 2A4s are overwhelmed. Only 2 of them are left. They are pulling back to the forest, and the NATO forces are getting totally destroyed. Little push here on the NATO side. This forest has finally succumbed to the bombardment, flamethrowers, and infantry push by the NATO players. T-80Us are moving forward. The ATGMs are starting to load, but they just pull back from range and are saved from an ATGM shot. On this side, well, the commander is pulling back, but is destroyed by a T-80A shot, and well, the NATO forces have totally been wiped out by the PACT push, and well, a good flanking maneuver. This is destroying absolutely everything. There is nothing left to defend Quebec, and the mortars that are the only troops left over here are pulling back towards Lima. Over here, a little push against the T-80Us. They are occupied they are shooting against Leopards 2A4, so 2 VABs with ATGM troops are coming in on their flank. They both disembark. 2 ATGMs are shot, and the 2 T-80Us are destroyed. 2 very, very nice ATGM shots. Over here, well, PatBoy realizes that he has nothing left to defend Quebec, so he pulls back his commander. The left flank of the NATO players has totally been lost. Only a few units, anti-air units, totally encircled, can't move anymore. A few 8 ATGM infantry are left in this city, and 2 Leopards 2K4 and a few mortars also. These troops are totally well, abandoned on the left flank. They are trying to deal as much damage as they can before they can pull back or before they are killed. Here the Ronalds are killed. These Leopards are going to be taken out by T-80s that are moving in. It's a total debacle on the NATO's left flank. We've got 200 points advantage for the PACT players, but in terms of economy, the NATO team is better. There are 2 sectors controlled, no, sorry, 4 sectors now. 9 points for the PACT players, 12 points for NATO, and yeah, 12 points for NATO. So an economic advantage for the NATO team, but a point advantage, well, 100 points, not much, for the PACT team. But 2 Leopards 2A4 are probably going to get killed soon over here, so that will give a lot more points to the PACT players. A little push over here with infantry to try to take out the Piorta Smerch, I don't know, and take the city over here, the building over here. Farwader has taken control of his side of the map and is pulling all his units on the flank of Medivil. Medivil, who has lost 2 TATUs over here, is pulling back behind the river to avoid the flanking maneuver from Farwader, and well, he is pulling back his entire forces. On this side, well, the 2 Leopards 2A4 destroyed by the TATAs. We've got 300 points advantage for the PACT players, and a left flank totally abandoned by NATO. Yeah, the command vehicle is still pulling back to November, and 1 Gazelle is sent to recon this sector to make sure no PACT units are going to threaten November sector. 1 Leopard 2A4 destroyed here by the Tour Concourse. This forest is the last strong point of the PACT players in this area. The NATO players really need to take it out in order to be able to move into Kilo. Unfortunately, all the heavy tanks from Oscar are moving into Kilo. We've got a lot of TATAs moving into Kilo, and they will start their offensive in the middle of the map. On this side, well, Gazelles are sent in to take out the few transport units that we have in this, the PACT players, sorry, have in this area. The Gazelles are coming in, and we will try to take them out to wipe out the threat in this sector. Unfortunately, these transports still have infantry in them. It's quite risky then to attack with Gazelles, so we just decide to wipe out these transports and wait for the PACT's next movements. Over here, well, a little move by Zalos and UAZ Concourse. The heavy tanks are behind, waiting for supplies. Supplies that are coming in right now. Well, the French mortars are still hitting the forest over here. The 8 American mortars that survived, that are the only units practically that survived the massacre over there, arrived and are starting to hit this forest also. NATO players are really hoping to destroy the units over here to push into Kilo. Unfortunately, the heavy tanks of the PACT have arrived and are now, well, practically ready for a big offensive in Kilo, in Mike, and there is no, well, not much that can stop them right now. We've got a few ATGM jeeps over here. We've got no more heavy tanks. I've got 2 Leopards 2A4 coming in on this, well, via November. We've got a few helicopters over here, and that's practically all. If PACT pushes now, well, it's going to be very hard to stop them for the NATO players. Here we go, we've got a recon, ground recon, and 4 tanks going to Quebec to wipe out the last PACT menace and make sure nobody comes in to attack November from behind. A little push from Zalos over here that kill the infantry and the Chapare that was stationed here. Hopefully the M151A2 TOW are destroying all the Zalos that are trying to attack on Mike. Hopefully, if they didn't manage to do that, there wasn't much that could stop them. The 2 Leopards 2A4 are coming in from Farwader, are coming in this area to hope and stop the PACT offensive that's starting right now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heavy tanks coming in against only 2 Leopards. That's, well, it's going to be really difficult for the NATO players to, well, 2 other Leopards are coming in, but that's not, maybe won't be enough to stop the PACT offensive. Over here we've got 2 infantry with ATGM, well, but they are out of ammo, so they are pulling back into with their VABs. The Leopards are trying what they can to stop the PACT offensive, but here is the point where the NATO players send in helicopters to try to counter this offensive. We've got 4 Cobras and 2 Apache helicopters. There is absolutely no anti-air in this area. The 2 Leopards are pulling back, but the helicopters are coming in, and without any anti-air, well, the helicopters may be able to turn the tide in this battle. We've got 300-point advantage for the PACT, and the helicopters are coming in. One TATA is down, the second is down also. The Apaches are coming in. One TATU and one TATA is down. That's 4 heavy tanks destroyed. 1/5 here taken out, and the T-62Ms here also destroyed. The lack of anti-air from the PACT players allows the NATO to come back and destroy entirely this heavy tank force. With the NATO that was 300 points behind the PACT is now 600 points in front, and seems to be able to push back the PACT army. PACT, whose advantage was obviously his heavy tank force over here, is now in a bad situation. It has lost his ground force advantage and has an economic, well, and NATO players have above added to that an economic advantage. They've got 17 points of economy against 15 for the PACT. So a slight advantage for the NATO forces now. They've got 600 points advantage here, and 17 against 15 reinforcement points. Some helicopters here try to destroy a few of the NATO units. Unfortunately for them, some AMX-30 Roland 2 and some Chaparral are coming in to destroy the helicopters that have to pull back. The last infantry in this forest are destroyed by a nice mortar barrage. Here we go. The Leopards from Selkares and Farwader can now move in Kilo and destroy anything they encounter. There is no PACT heavy tank left, well, apart from one little TATA. 2 others are coming in. It's going to be very difficult now for the PACT to hold the NATO counter-offensive. One little offensive into the back of the PACT army with infantry units, Chasseurs-FAMAS and Jaeger. The PACT seems able to counter this little push, but the deployment of a Gazelle and a Delta force allows the NATO forces to detect this well, flanking attempt with helicopters and Gazelles from myself. My Gazelles are sent in to counter these, well, this threat. So meanwhile, the forest has been cleared. On Kilo, the Leopards are taking the advantage, and we are starting. NATO forces are starting to push into Lima. Lima, the enemy commander, is starting to move. He is getting shot at by the American mortars. Infantry is coming in and will try to control the entire forest and push back the PACT forces. PACT forces that are attacked also on this flank by the Leopards over here. The helicopter fight is starting between the Me-24As and the Gazelles. Unfortunately for the PACT, well, there is a high numerous advantage for the NATO forces, and the Me-24As are getting totally killed. One is down, second is down, third one is down. The PACT helicopters are getting totally killed. The Gazelles are doing a very good job. Coming back into Kilo, the Leopards are starting to move up. They have nothing left to stop them apart from 2 TATAs, but that they are very injured, and one is dead and the second is not going to last long. The push on Lima is going well also. Infantry units supported by recon units and tanks coming in on the left and ATGM jeeps. Lima is starting to fall. The NATO counter-offensive is for now very efficient, and well, PACT can't do much to stop it. Speeding up once again. 10 minutes left in this game, and there is 1,300 points advantage for the NATO team. The Leopards are moving in. Over here, Lima is falling. The PACT is pulling back, trying to make a hold near Juliet. They have a TATA here in the forest. 2 T-72Ms that seem to want to pull back. One helicopter totally killed by mortars. It's the total panic, it seems, in the PACT ranks. Gazelles are moving in behind. Sorry. killing what they can. They are moving towards they are moving, I don't know where. They are stopping and will try to take out the T-62s. The Leopards over here are moving in, moving to try to take out Juliet. Lima has been taken by the NATO players. The Gazelles have killed the two T-62Ms and will now move towards India. Only 3 sectors are still controlled by the PACT team against, sorry for that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sectors for the NATO team. There's a big point advantage, 1,400 points for advantage for NATO, and a big economic and ground and map control advantage for the NATO team. It seems like the PACT is in a very, very bad situation. The ME9 is going to get destroyed by the Gazelles. Here we go. India is totally contested by the NATO forces. Sorry. The offensive by the NATO players on Juliet is continuing. The Leopards, the AMX-32Bs, and of course the anti-air support and the ATGM support is pushing in. The TATA is destroyed. One Me-26 is in a bad shape and it's probably going to get killed. Yeah, the anti-air took it out. Only one TATA is left to defend the Juliet sector. Helicopters are sent in to help, but unfortunately one Chaparral is in, or 2 Air Marder Roland 2 are here, and the helicopters are totally destroyed. Even Cobras came in to help in this attack. Juliet is starting to fall against this NATO offensive. Some heavy tanks are sent in. TAT and TATB are sent in to stop this NATO offensive, but it's going to be very, very hard. The Concourse support the TAT tanks, and helicopters coming also, but the helicopters destroyed by the Chaparral once again. The tanks are stunned by a very, very nice mortar hit, and meanwhile the Leopards 2A4 supported by Apaches are destroying the ground forces. Apaches, one of them is destroyed by a Tunguska. Quebec is also recaptured by PatBoy's CPC. A little push here from T-80s. The AMX-30B2 aren't able to hold against that, but Gazelles, and well, now we have a reinforcement route. Quebec is taken back by the NATO players. Juliet is abandoned by the PACT. The commander is pulling back. PACT is being totally pushed into the corner of the map, into the left side of the map. They have only Oscar and Papa left. They are totally circled by the NATO forces. This forest is also falling into the hands of the NATO players. Once again, a rush of an attack by Légion and Chasseurs FAMAS. 1 minute left in this game. The TATs are pushing in, but 8 infantry troops with ATGMs are coming in to stop the TATs, and the Leopards over here are continuing the push against the PACT forces. 40 seconds left. Helicopters are coming in, but that won't be enough to well, we've got nearly 2,000 points advantage for the NATO players. It's gonna be a NATO victory. ATGMs are shot, well, and the shots are missed. And here we go, the PACT is totally circled and blocked in this corner of the map. 2,000 point advantage for the NATO team. Very, very good match from both teams, I must say. Some mistakes here and there, but globally quite a nice match. Yeah. So, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you liked it, and see you next time.